My name is Maureen Bashira. I'm a data analyst at Sibasi. And Sibasi is a tech company that deals with development, deployment, and technology consulting of various tools. As a data analyst at Sibasi, I work with Power BI. It's one of the tools in my toolset, and I have worked with it in various projects. And it has been a good experience. So today we'll be talking about maps. It's one of my favorite visuals, so I hope we can all have fun learning about maps. So, okay, Power BI maps we have the built-in maps in Power BI, and we also have custom maps in Power BI. So today we'll be primarily focusing on built-in maps in Power BI, not those ones that you have to get as custom visuals. That will be our focus for today. So we'll start with a brief introduction on why maps are important, or the types of built-in maps available in Power BI, how to enable preview map visuals, creating map visuals, and we'll finish up with a Q&A session. However, as Consolata said, if you have any questions, just post them in the chat. So by the end of this session, you should be able to list the 4 types of built-in maps in Power BI. You should be able to enable preview map visuals and create various map visuals. I think we'll start immediately with why maps are important. So maps are very important because as opposed to displaying or conveying my information in numeric form, maps are very engaging to my audience. Humans are generally able to process visual information faster and retain it longer. So that's why we really love maps, representing my information visually, as long as it has a location, is quite better than just giving someone a bunch of numbers. And that's why we love maps. They're very interactive. You can interact with your data in a visual way, and that really helps your end user. Okay, so in Power BI, we have 4 types of built-in map visuals. We have the basic map, which is also the Microsoft Bing map. We have the field map, the shape map, and the Azure map. I think we'll cover each one specifically, and then we'll go into a short demo. So we'll start with the basic map. This is one of the best maps. It's easy to use, and if you're looking to just show you information in a quick map, this is the one you want to go for. If you want to quickly show some information about this, your data that is, okay, I'm trying to say is, if you really want to quickly create a map, this is the one you go for. This map represents information in bubbles, as illustrated in the image below. And in order to create this visual in the visualization pane, it's represented with this icon here. So this map is very nice. If you want to do something quick and easy, this is the one you go for. The next one is the field map. This one is also called a choropleth map. So as opposed to the first one, which is the basic map, which represents our information in bubbles, this one will display it in the color. So the color saturation will differ depending on what information is showing. So for example, if you want to show the number of deaths due to COVID-19, maybe a darker color like this one will show more number of deaths, and the lighter version will show less deaths. So that's the field map. And in order to get access to get the visual, you get it in the visualization pane. This is the icon that you use to get this visual. Okay, the next one is the shape map. This is, as opposed to the other two, this one is not quite easy, but it's not hard. Okay, so this one, the best map, if you want to, the best thing about the shape map, it allows you to have a custom geography. What this means is that if you want to show information maybe of one continent or maybe even a specific country down right to a district, even to a zone, this is the map you go for. It's very flexible, and that's why we love it. And so the shape map takes in a JSON format file. That is what it is going to use to show the map. However, there are also some built-in geographies that are there. But let's say if you want to visualize data on Africa using a shape map, you will not be able to show this unless you input a custom shape JSON file on Africa. So that is one of the things that is one of the recommendations of the shape map. The only disadvantage I would say about the shape map is that if you put in a large tuple JSON file, it might cause a bit of a lag in your report. So if you are opening the visual, it will take some time to load. So, but we will see all this practically when we go to the demo. So another not really a disadvantage is that the shape map visual is in preview mode. This means that it's still ongoing. The Power BI team is still working on it. So you have to enable the preview feature in Power BI. And how you do this is that you click on File on the top left-hand corner of the Power BI desktop. You select Options and Settings, click on Options, select Preview Features, and you check the shape map checkbox as illustrated in this image. However, we'll still do a demo on this later. So yeah. The next visual is the Azure Maps. This is another very dynamic map. The best thing about this visual is that you can show your data, you can display your data in very many types of visualization layers, such that what I mean is, you remember like the basic map, you are showing our information in bubble form. In Azure Maps, you can display them in bubble form, you can display them in bar chart form, even in color saturation. So it's a very dynamic map. However, it has some limitations. That is, it's not available in Power BI published web. So if you create a report and you need to publish it to the web, your visual will not really show, and you cannot really embed it in your own web app. So that is one of the disadvantages. However, it's still a very versatile visual, and we are going to look into it. Also, since it's still on preview mode, so you still go through the same steps of enabling it enabling the preview, as we saw before in the shape map. So once you enable the preview, you should access the visual in the visualization pane. This is how it looks like. Yeah. So we'll go into a short demo immediately. We'll go into a short demo. So I'm going to switch to Power BI desktop so that you can see how to create these visuals. Okay. Okay. So before we begin in looking at the visuals, I'll briefly talk about the data that I'll be using. So I have COVID-19 global data. This will show the number of new cases, cumulative cases, new deaths, and cumulative deaths per region, per country over time. So that is the data we have. I also have a few visuals, and I want to maybe focus on the measure that we are going to be talking about. It's the infection fertility rate, fatality rate, not fertility, sorry. So what this is that it's showing how fatal COVID-19 was to a certain country. So if I've gotten it by getting the number of deaths divided by all the cumulative cases. So what ideally it means if a country had one case and that one person died, then the fatality rate will be 100%. But if the country had one case and that one person did not die and they recovered, then the country will have a fatality rate of 0. So the less the fatality rate, then the better. So the higher the fatality rate, the more fatal COVID-19 was in that country. Okay, so now that we've looked at the data that we have, I'm going to quickly go through the visuals that we have, and we are going to recreate them. So this is the first visual that we talked about, the basic map that we get through this map visual, this in the visualization pane. As you can see, the data is represented in bubble form. So, and the size of the bubble represents the aggregate of the summary that we want to show. So in this case, we wanted to show the infection fatality rate. So the larger the bubble, the higher the fatality, the fatality of COVID-19 was in that country. So this is how it looks like. So let's go into the field map. So for the field map, it looks something like this. So as you can see, when we talked about the field map, we talked about that the color saturation will represent our aggregate field. So in our case, since we are showing infection fatality rate, the darker the hue, then the higher the infection fatality. The lighter hue of blue is indicating low levels of COVID-19 fatality. Okay, the next one we talked about is the shape map. Yeah, so this one, as we said, this one takes in to JSON file, and with this shape map visual, I was inspired by a lady called Cabell, and I think she also was inspired by somebody who had posted in the Power BI showcase. So Yeah, so just showing how versatile shape map visual can be, and see something. This one is giving the illusion that your visual is rotating, and you can see it's like someone is rotating the globe. So we learn how we can maybe create something like this using the shape map. It's a very versatile map visual. And also you'll notice that whenever I hover, we have a tooltip. So all these map visuals, you're able to create to create a custom tooltip and hover over it. Okay, the next one is also a shape map visual. So you remember the disadvantage I talked about is that if you have a large JSON file, it will take some while to load, as you saw. So that is one of the disadvantages. So sometimes when you create a shape map visual, it will take a bit of time to rotate. And I also said that the shape map visual is very versatile because you can create any custom geography. Like in the other ones, we were seeing the global, we were representing our data at a global level, but here I only wanted to show Africa. So I inserted African shape map. And if we wanted, we can even show just one region, maybe West Africa, maybe we can even show Kenya, can even show just one district in Kenya. Yeah, so that is the versatility of a shape map visual. Yes. So then last one that we will talk about is Azure Map. A very interesting map visual, as you can see. As I told you before, you can represent your information on top as a layer on top of the map in very different ways. So using a bubble, using a bar. I think this bar is very interesting. And see, you can even rotate the visual as so. So if you want a 360 view, you can do that. If you want to change the orientation, you can see it like this, or you can see it this way. So very interesting stuff with this. If you want to zoom in, we have the control buttons here that help you to really interact with your visual. So I think we'll start. That is the Azure Map visual. Will go step by step in trying to recreate this visualization. So we'll start with the Azure Bing map. No, actually, let's look at what you require in order to create a visualization, a map visualization in your data. So the first thing you need is information. You need location information. So in my case, I have country information. You can have latitude or longitude information, and you can have any information as long as it's country, city, address, postal codes. Power BI maps will some of the Power BI maps will be able to take that in. So one of the key issues with when people are creating maps in Power BI is that they have their data not being recognized as location. So in my case, you can see we have a global icon here that is really already recognizes that country is a location. But in case yours doesn't do that, just click on in the field pane, click on a column, and then in the data category, you can specify what column what your location data is. If it's country, yes, you can see this is a country. If it's a city, if it's a county, state or province, if it's latitude or longitude, you can, that is one of the best ways you can help Power BI really say, you know what, this is my location. Okay, so and if you have latitude or longitude data, you have to make sure that it's in the data category decimal. So that's very important. Okay, so now that we have our data, we know our location information, what it is. So then we'll start with recreating our map visual. So we'll start a basic map. Once you click, let's start with the basic map. Once you click the icon, the basic map icon, you'll get an empty visual. So you need to populate this visual with some information. So you'll put in your location information. So my location information is country. So once you input the information, you'll see already we have gotten the bubbles. So the bubbles will represent the location. So any location, any country that is in my column is going to be represented as a bubble. Yeah. Now, this is not really telling me anything except I have the information on this region, on these locations. So what I want to show is the infection fatality rate. So that is where the size of the bubbles will come in. So here you'll just come in and you'll have an option of input. You input your aggregation field in the bubble size. So now this map is telling us something. It's telling us, you know what, here in Yemen, you have a very high infection fatality rate of 19.62 compared with smaller bubbles such as this one, which is in New Zealand, which has 0.12% infection fatality rate. So the size of the bubble is telling us something. Okay, so another custom thing you can do with what are the custom adjustments you can do to this map is that maybe you want to display your information in terms of category. Maybe I want to show South America to have a different color, Australia to have Africa to have a different color. So I'll just figure out which category do I want to show that in. So for me, I want to show in region. So in the legend field, just drop that and immediately you'll see that Africa has a different color and the other regions have different colors. South America has a nice blue. North America has, so that is essentially how you achieve this. So what other map settings that you'll get is style or theme. So the one we currently have is road, and this map visuals, and you'll see that these styles will be repetitive in other visuals. We have aerial, so this style, this kind of theme will look like you are looking at Earth from the moon. You have one that is dark. You have grayscale. So you choose the one that you feel like is most suited to you or will show your information in a more clear way. So we have the show labels. These labels are these that we see here saying North America, Asia. So if you don't want them, and you can just disable that. If you want them, if you want to see those labels, you can just put this on. Okay, so we have controls here. We can have right now I have auto zoom enabled, and what this does is that if I select, let's say I have a slicer, if I select a region, it will auto zoom to there. I think we'll input a slicer and see that practically. Another we have here is zoom buttons. Let's put this on. So zoom buttons are very good because I think they are good for your end user, because it's very obvious that you can use this to zoom in. So if I want to focus on an area, let's say I want to focus on East Africa, I can really zoom in into my area and I can zoom out. So it's very user friendly to my end user. Yeah. So there are not that many adjustments that you can make. Let us look at others. You want to change the size, the position. Maybe you want to have a title, which we already have here. And as we saw in the one that we already had, we had a tooltip. So this is where you input your tooltip. If you want a custom tooltip, you'll just say report page, and I'll go into my map tooltip. And now we can have now a custom tooltip. Yeah. So it's very handy when you want to have a good user experience to your end user. So there are not many other adjustments that you can make on this map, which is why it is one of the most basic. It's called basic map. Okay, let's go to the next one. That is the field map. Okay, this one was the one that was the chloroplast. Let's see how I can create this one. The icon is just to the left, to the right of to the left. It's just next to the map visual icon. So you click this one, then you'll get this blank visual. So we can populate it with the location information. And something else that we can say is that if you have latitude and longitude information, you can input it here as well. It is going to help your map to really work with you to give you more accurate information. It's going to remove the ambiguity in your visual. So right now, for me, I only have country information, but if I had latitude and longitude information, I would also input it. So, and if you only have latitude and longitude information, you can also just use that as well. Although it's usually best if you use both together. That way you'll get you'll be helping Power BI to say, you know what, to give you a more accurate visual. Okay, so this is our field map. We have our location. Okay, it's not really telling us much. That is the areas that we have our information, just like the bubble chart, is going to be saturated with a color. Then, if you want now to put in information, you can put it in our tooltip. Okay, so let's give it a while. Okay, so now already you can see there's a bit of a color change. You can see, and once you hover, you have information. Sudan, you have 7.25% infection fatality rate, and so forth and so forth. So what are the customizations you can do on this map? You can go to the field colors. We talked about this map, and as size is what is showing you the aggregate summary in the basic chart. Here they use color. So color is very important to this map. So if you wanted to put in a legend here, let's say we put in region as a legend, and you want to color different regions with a different color. This one is not really saying anything, except unless what you want to show is that Asia has a different color, North America has a different color. It's really not saying much. So let's remove that. So in the field colors, you'll see the default color is this blue. You have this FX that is showing that you can have some conditional formatting. This means we can add a measure here that will be able to control the colors that will be displayed in our field map. So we also have here a button that says shows all. If you click on show all, you'll be able to now really control the colors for each country. I don't know why you'd want to, maybe unless you want to show this region is blue, this one is red. If that is what you want to show, then that might be, you can do that, and you have a few regions, a few countries or regions or whatever you will have, or whatever categories you will have. So that's that. So for me here, I want to show for areas with a high infection fatality level, I want to show them with a darker hue. For those with a low, I want to show them with a low hue. So I already created a measure, called it color check. We used switch function. And I said if the infection fatality rate is between 0 and 0.35, give me this color. If it is between 0.035 and 0.06, then give me this color. If it's greater than this, then give me this color. Greater than 0 or equals to 0.06, then give me that color. So let's input our function, our measure. Okay, let's give it a minute, and yeah, and now it's working. So now already you can see, you can see the areas with a darker hue, such as Sudan. You can see they have a very high infection fatality rate. They already stand out. Yemen, Mexico, Peru, Para. Okay. Okay, so that is how it looks like. So okay, some other settings you can do, similarly to the basic map, is that you can change the style from road to aerial. Whichever suits your fancy, you can just adjust. Okay. Similarly, you can input a zoom button. Yeah. So as you can see, similarly to the other one, it doesn't have much customizations that you can do, but still saying what we need to say. You can also add our custom tooltip. Here, you can add our tooltip. Okay, already, yes. Okay, so let's go into the shape map visual. So the shape map visual, you can get it from here. But as I said before, this preview, you have to enable the preview feature for the shape map visual. And how you do it is we go to File, Options and Settings, Options. Okay, and then we go to Preview Features. And this is the checkbox you have to check. Okay, here, Shape Map Visual. Okay. And Power BI will require you to restart then you'll get your icon in the visualization pane. So let's click that. Since we have to populate it with some information, location information. Okay, immediately you can see this visual will try to tell you, I think you're trying to visualize this, but you see this is not what we want to show. We want to show global, in a global scale. So we have to put in our custom to.json file, which has to be gotten from a world shape map. So you can go online and you can search for a world shape map. You can download it and then you can convert it to JSON. There are many sites that you can download this from, and one of the best sites for converting shape map into JSON is one that is called MapShaper. It's a very good site. You can look at it later. Okay. So right now, these are the built-in geographies that I was talking about that come in with the shape map vision. We have Australia, we have Brazil. This one, you can see Africa is still not yet. Hopefully they will put it, but then they also don't have the global one that we actually want. So we have to choose custom map, and then I've already pre-downloaded a shape map and converted it into JSON format. So I'll just browse to that area. This is the one I have, and you can input it. Okay, immediately you will see that now we have our custom. We'll have our map. It's showing. If you want to see, since we had put in our location information, already it will be highlighted with the color saturation. Okay. Now, if we want to now show our infection fatality measure and we want to show it through color saturation, can input it there and immediately you can see that we have a kind of a chloroplet. You can see Yemen has a darker color showing that Yemen has a high infection fatality rate. Yep. So what are the customizations that we can do to the shape map? Okay, another thing we can do is that we can put in our legend here, but just like we did before. And if you put in your category, you'll get different colors per category, just as we had seen before. So now let's go to the customizations we can do. We have three types of this called projection. I'm sure the one like the shape map visual I showed you earlier looked like a globe, but this one really doesn't look like a globe. So I'll show you how we achieved that. So here, this is how we achieved it. You'll have three like orientations. So this have this one, looks like this. We have this one, and we have this orthographic. So this is how we were able to get like a globe like type. It looks like a globe. So now the other things you can do is we can change the colors here. So already you'll see Power BI will give you by default these colors. The minimum will be this, maximum will be this. And you can turn on the gradient where you can have even a center color. So maybe we can select something like this. It will even be better. And you can adjust this these numbers here. If you want the minimum to be not 0, you can still adjust, and that will also come into play with how the colors look like. You can also adjust these colors and put in your own colors. So you're not confined to these colors that are here. Okay, the blank areas are where we don't have any data. You can also change the color. Maybe you want a lighter gray, and the border, maybe you want black. So these are the type of superficial, some of the things you can do to adjust the look of your shape map. Okay. Now another thing that we did here, as you can see, let us reference back to our visual. When you select the visual, we made it look as if you can rotate. It's like a globe rotating. It's like you have a globe that is rotating. So let's put in our filter, and then you can see how we were able to achieve that. And I'll put in my region here. So you can see it's not really rotating, it's only highlighting the areas. So how we were able to achieve the rotating kind of feel was that we zoomed in here. So you check the auto zoom. So now let's click this. Yeah, so that is how you are able to achieve. Although it doesn't look good right now, but it was, if we dissect it very well, you can see here we have the shape map visual. It's a play on colors. We have another behind it. We have a circular shape and another circular shape. It's a play on colors, just a few adjustments here and there. I think this you can find this visual in the Power BI showcase. There's somebody who has PBIX on this. So if you see something that you like, there you can download and you can dissect and see how this person achieved this visual. Yeah. Or you can Google, I think, Carbon, and she has that PBIX also. So, okay, so this is just to show you how dynamic and how versatile your maps can be. They don't have to just look flat. You can do a lot of things with them. Just think outside the box and look for ideas outside. So it doesn't have to be just a flat map. Yeah, so I'll have part 2. So we'll wait for it to load. Like I told you before, if you have a heavy to project on, just give it time to load. So in this case, I wanted to only show information in Africa. So I have a to project on file in Africa. So, but for now, let's say we want to show information in West Africa only. So I'll show you how you can do that. So you input shape map visual, we'll input our country, and then let us go and get our JSON file. Here it is, and you can open. So you see, we only have West Africa in this case. We have Mali, Mauritania, Niger, Nigeria, and Congo, which doesn't have really any data. So this is how versatile you can be. You can have only a few countries, you can have one country, you can have a district, just to show you how far you can go with these maps. So don't limit yourself to only one visual. And so with that, let's go to the next map, which is Azure Map. Okay, as I said before, this is a very versatile map. You can display your information on top of your map in very different ways. So I'll show you how you can achieve something like this. And also you can go and explore more into this visual. Okay, so as I said before, Azure Map is, you have to enable preview settings of Azure Map. So as you remember, you will go to File Options and Setting Options, and then Preview Features, and you enable it here. You check this checkbox here, and then you restart Power BI, and then you'll have this icon. So let's click here so that you can start. Once you start this visual, you get something like this, and then you have to input the information, so the location information. So this Azure Map works best with latitude and longitude data. So since I don't have that, I'll still use this location, but please go and try with latitude and longitude information and see all the various ways you can display data with it. So for this one, we are showing it in bubble chart. Okay, sorry, let me highlight my chart. So as you can see, we have a bubble chart layer that is on. You can adjust the size of the bubble, and this also as well, you have it in the basic map. You can adjust the size. Since we are really not showing anything except the location here, so the bubbles will be the same size. But if you want to adjust the size, you come here and input your information. Similarly to the basic map, you can have your category here, maybe like region, and it will give you different colors. Yeah, so let's go to something else. Maybe let's go to this layer. This is my favorite bar chart layer, the one that we had. So for this bar chart layer, you can adjust the height of the bar chart. Maybe if I want it at 3, have it. You can change the orientation of how you are receiving the map using the here. So if you want to see it flat like this, then if you want to adjust, you can click here like this. So this is best when you are viewing a bar chart layer. You're viewing your information in bar chart layer. You can rotate like this, depending on what you want to see. You can zoom in. Also, I'll show you how to input these controls. So very interesting stuff. It's very cool. It kind of looks like the intro of Game of Thrones. So I like it. So yeah. Okay. So let me put back. What are the settings that we can have in this? Okay, let me put back on the bar chart layer. Some of the settings is the ones that we had discussed. Although here we have a bit more. We have satellite style. It's really cool. We have green light. So just go and try and see which one look nice to you, or which one will display your data best. So here in the controls is where you can adjust this information. So if that was our navigation, it was on, now I've put it off. So this is how you switch it on. Okay, if I want, so this one kind of shows you this is the world wrap style picker. This style picker allows your user to adjust. It gives the user a button that you can click and you can adjust the theme or the style that you want to consume the map. So if you want your user to have that kind of flexibility or that kind of freedom, you can input the style picker on. So there are many more representation layers in Azure Maps, which I will leave you to find out. Maybe you can go and look at reference layer, traffic layer, and tail layer. And it's a bit of homework for you. So with that, I feel like we have covered all the map visuals, unless so I'll be taking in any questions you have. Okay. Salata, do you have any questions?
Hi, Maureen. I think I'd just be very curious to know how you'd make this available to users or how you will share. Hi, Maureen. Not sure if you got my question.
Sorry?
I'd be curious to know how you will share this to anybody maybe would like to collaborate. Hi, Maureen. I think we lost you for a bit.
Hello? Hello?
I don't know whether you got my question. Okay, I probably will catch up with that offline. So, thank you everybody for joining. In case you'd have any questions, feel free to send us a message on the chat or contact us at info@cbasi.com. And also, we'd really appreciate your feedback. The feedback form is on the chat. Let us know your thoughts. And thank you so much for your time. We look forward to having you next Wednesday on our next episode of Microsoft Wednesdays.